Listen, if you're still paying fancy egg money for breakfast, you might be getting played. Because here's the wild truth. A lot of the cheap eggs you can grab in regular American supermarkets are just as good for everyday eating. And in some cases, they're a smarter buy than the premium cartons, especially if you actually cook with eggs and don't just take photos of them for Instagram. Today I'm going to show you 5 budget-friendly egg brands Americans can actually find in stores that can beat expensive brands where it matters to most people: value per egg, consistency, availability, and how they perform in real cooking: scrambles, omelets, baking, meal prep, the stuff that makes eggs worth buying. And I'm not going to do that vague influencer thing where they say it's cheaper but never tell you the number. I'm giving real listed prices I found online, and I'll tell you exactly where they came from. But listen closely. Egg prices change constantly depending on city, store, week, and sales. So treat these as recent reference prices, not a promise. Still, the pattern is the point, and the pattern is shocking. Quick reality check before we crack in. In the U.S., egg grades like grade A and grade AA mostly describe interior and shell quality, not nutrition. Grade AA tends to have firmer whites and higher, rounder yolks. Grade A is still very high quality and totally fine for most cooking. Also, if you think brown eggs are more nutritious than white eggs, nope. Shell color is breed-related, and nutrients aren't significantly different. And yes, store your eggs at 40 degrees F or below, and ideally use within about 3 weeks for best quality. That's straight from the FDA. All right, let's get to the list. First up, this one is the budget king that quietly wins in millions of American kitchens. Great value, Walmart, large white eggs, 12 count. The listed online price I'm seeing for great value, large white eggs, 12 count is $1.97. That's about 16.4 cents per egg. Now, I can already hear someone typing, "Yeah, but those are cheap eggs." Okay, cheap in price, but in practice, these are USDA Grade A eggs, and for everyday cooking, scrambling, baking, French toast, breakfast sandwiches, Grade A is exactly what most recipes assume you're using. Here's the underrated advantage: consistency and turnover. Walmart moves a ton of eggs. That often means the stock doesn't sit around forever, and freshness is a big deal, because freshness affects things like how the white holds together, how a fried egg looks, and how cleanly an egg peels after boiling. If you're making scrambled eggs, these are basically the cheat code. Spend less per dozen, use more eggs, meal prep more protein, and stop rationing like eggs are rare collectibles. And compare that to premium pasture-raised cartons like Vital Farms. Target lists Vital Farms pasture-raised grade A large eggs 12 count at $6.89, about 57 cents per egg. Walmart lists a similar Vital Farms dozen at $6.67. That's not a little more, that's more than triple the price of the Great Value dozen. Now, if your priority is animal welfare labels or pasture standards, you might still choose those. Totally fair. But if your priority is, "I want eggs that cook well and don't destroy my grocery budget," Great Value is the daily driver. Second brand, Target shoppers, this is your move. Good and Gather Target, Grade A large eggs 12 count. Target's own store brand, Good and Gather, has a 12 count Grade A large eggs listing for $1.99, and Target's own Good and Gather egg listings show that price point. That's basically the same budget lane as Walmart, about 17 cents an egg. And here's why this matters. If you're someone who shops Target anyway, you can get in and out with a dozen eggs without paying boutique breakfast pricing. What I like about Good and Gather is that it's usually easy to find variations: standard large, sometimes cage-free options, and different pack sizes depending on your store. The goal is simple: keep eggs in your fridge without feeling like you need a payment plan. Cooking performance? You're good for big, fluffy scrambles, omelets that don't taste off, pancakes, muffins, cookies, where eggs are structure, not a luxury ingredient. And again, if someone tells you you must buy expensive eggs for baking, please, most of the time, sugar, flour, butter, and technique matter way more than whether your dozen costs $2 or $7. Now third, this one is for a huge slice of America that shops mainstream grocery chains. Kroger, in Kroger stores. Kroger Grade A large eggs 12 count. Kroger's own listing for Kroger Grade A large eggs 12 count shows $2.09, about 17 cents per egg. That's still budget-friendly, and it's the kind of price where you can buy multiple dozens without feeling guilty. And Kroger's footprint matters because cheap eggs aren't helpful if you can't get them. Kroger and its family of stores cover a lot of the country. Why this is better than expensive for most households? You get solid eggs for daily use. You don't have to save the good eggs for weekends. You can do high-protein breakfasts without spending steak money. Here's a practical tip. Grade A is totally fine for most cooking, but if you're the type who loves picture-perfect fried eggs or poached eggs where the white needs to hug the yolk like it's protective custody, you might sometimes prefer Grade AA. USDA describes Grade AA as having thicker, firmer whites and higher, rounder yolks, but you do not need Grade AA to make a killer omelet or bake cookies. Okay, now we're going into Costco territory, and yes, this is where things get unfair. Kirkland Signature, Costco, cage-free eggs, large, 24 count. Costco same day shows Kirkland Signature eggs, large, 24 count, priced at $4.42. That's about 18.4 cents per egg, and you're getting cage-free plus Grade AA according to that listing's details. So here's what's crazy. People assume cage-free automatically means premium pricing, but in bulk, Costco can land right in the same cheap egg neighborhood per egg, sometimes even better than regular grocery prices depending on the week. If you have a family, if you meal prep, if you eat eggs daily, Costco can turn eggs into one of the best value proteins you can buy. And that's why this can feel better than expensive. You're not just saving money, you're getting a label people pay extra for elsewhere, and you're buying enough eggs that you're not back at the store again in 2 days. Now, if you're thinking, but a 24-pack is too many, remember the FDA's guidance. Keep eggs refrigerated at 40 degrees F or below, and ideally use within about 3 weeks for best quality. That's straight from the FDA. All right, fifth brand. This one is the sleeper pick that people overlook because it's not flashy. Gold Hen, ALDI, Grade A large eggs, 1 dozen. Aldi's Gold Hen line shows Gold Hen Grade A large white eggs, 1 dozen, listed at $2.19. That's around 18.3 cents per egg, again, right in the value zone. And Aldi has a big advantage that premium brands hate. Aldi shoppers are there to save money, so the store brand is built around value. Also, Gold Hen has multiple options depending on what your store carries. Aldi even shows Gold Hen varieties like cage-free and free-range options on their brand page, though prices vary by type. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the egg aisle. Are these actually better than expensive eggs? Here's how I'm defining better for this video, because I'm not here to sell you a fantasy. Better means you can afford them consistently. They work great for real cooking, they let you eat more protein without wrecking your budget, and you're not paying extra for marketing when you don't need to. Because if you buy expensive eggs and then use them sparingly, you're not upgrading your diet, you're upgrading your guilt. Also, a lot of people get tricked by visuals. They see darker yolks and assume more nutrition. But yolk color is influenced by what hens eat, and shell color doesn't indicate nutrition. If nutrition is your goal, what matters more is your overall diet, what you're eating with your eggs, and how often you're actually cooking. Now, are there valid reasons to pay more? Of course. Some people care deeply about specific animal welfare standards, pasture access, organic certification, and so on. And that's a values choice. But what I hate is when people are pressured into thinking they're doing eggs wrong unless they pay $7 to $12 a dozen. Like Pete and Jerry's pasture-raised eggs, Fresh Direct lists a dozen at $8.99. And again, Vital Farms is often around $6.67 to $6.89 for 12 eggs, depending on the retailer listing. That's premium pricing. Meanwhile, if you grab something like Great Value, $1.97 a dozen, Good and Gather, $2.99 a dozen, Kroger, $2.09 a dozen, you can literally buy 3 dozen for the price of 1 premium dozen, sometimes less. That's not just saving money, that's changing how you eat. Now, let me give you a fast how-to-choose cheat sheet while you're standing there in the store with the refrigerator door open, panicking like it's a game show. If you're baking, cookies, cakes, brownies, go with the best price per egg. Great Value, Good and Gather, Kroger, Kirkland, or Gold Hen, these are perfect. If you're scrambling or making omelets, again, price wins. You'll never taste the difference that justifies paying triple. If you're frying or poaching and you want that restaurant-style look, consider looking for grade AA when the price is close, like Kirkland's grade AA listing. But even then, don't let perfectionism steal your budget. And please, whatever brand you buy, do the 2-second safety check. Open the carton, make sure none are cracked, and store them cold. FDA recommends refrigeration at 40 degrees F or below. That's how you keep eggs safe and higher quality. One more quick reality bomb. People chase labels, but don't read what grades actually mean. USDA's egg grade standards describe things like the firmness of the white and the shape of the yolk, quality traits, not "this egg is healthier." So if you're trying to eat better on a budget, the smartest move is often
buy eggs you can actually afford to eat regularly. Now, here's my challenge for you, because I want you to actually use this info. Next time you shop, do this. Pick one of these budget brands: Great Value, Good and Gather, Kroger, Kirkland, or Gold Hen. Cook them in your normal routine for a week. Scramble them, bake with them, boil them, whatever you do. And then ask yourself honestly, did I just save money without losing anything that matters? Because if the answer is yes, you just unlocked a grocery cheat code, and you're never going back to paying premium prices out of habit. And if you want to go even deeper, here's the next level move. Tell me in the comments what store you shop at: Walmart, Target, Kroger, Costco, ALDI, and I'll help you find the best value egg option in your area and what to look for on the carton, because the egg aisle is basically a marketing battlefield. If this video saved you money or made you rethink your groceries, hit like, subscribe, and share it with that one friend who thinks expensive eggs are a personality trait. Because breakfast should be filling, not financially traumatizing.